Today we got a battle for the ages. Doomsday versus Apocalypse. Which, now I think of it, isn't that kind of the same thing? Aren't those the same thing? Anyways, that's not the point. We have these two powerful villains going head to head. Who wins? Let's find out. Doomsday is a seemingly unstoppable behemoth who adapts to overcome and destroy anything or anyone in his path. Because of his unique physiology, every time Doomsday dies, he comes back to life and becomes immune to whatever killed him. Doomsday possesses vast physical strength, and in fact, most opponents that get in his path are killed. He's even killed Superman before, and has knocked out Darkseid, Lord of Apocalypse. So that doesn't give you a glimpse of Doomsday's strength, I don't know what would. But not only is he super strong, he's also effectively invulnerable. He's withstood punches on Superman, Wonder Woman, and Martian Manhunter, Darkseid's Omega Beams, and energy blasts on Green Lanterns. And the few vital organs or weak spots that Doomsday does have are protected by thick layers of bone. Doomsday is an exceptionally fast healing factor, able to heal from any injury virtually instantaneously. He also possesses an ability known as reactive adaptation, which basically means that the longer the fight goes on, the more invulnerable he'll get as he fights. But not only that, he can actually adapt to his opponents and their weaknesses. For instance, he's grown kryptonite bone protrusions before while fighting Superman, and gained the ability to breathe fire while fighting against Martian Manhunter. Doomsday can also involuntarily return from the dead, so no matter how many times he dies, he'll always come back, and he'll be immune to whatever killed him in past lives. And then in the other corner of Apocalypse, one of the very first mutants. Apocalypse is both thousands of years old and a monstrous tyrant that's been a long-time foe with the X-Men. Apocalypse believes that only the strongest should survive, whether that be mutant or superhuman. His body is a mix of organics and powerful celestial technology. Apocalypse is one of the most powerful mutants who has ever lived, and is one of the most powerful beings who has ever walked the face of the earth. He was already a powerful mutant, but then he merged with celestial technology, which greatly amplified the powers that he already had and gave him new ones. And this guy has a ton of powers, so just hang with me here for a moment. It's literally like someone was coming up with a villain for the X-Men and decided to give this guy every power imaginable. Apocalypse possesses vast physical strength on par with Thor and Hulk, and durability where he can withstand powerful energy attacks, explosions, the full force of Cyclops' optic beams, and Black Bolt's shout. He can also increase his strength and durability to virtually infinite levels, because he can take on more mass from a different dimensional source or draw upon different energy sources. There's no limit to how much energy Apocalypse can draw from this extra dimensional source, so thus there's no limit to his physical strength. Apocalypse has complete control over the entire molecular structure of his body, and can do basically anything that he wants. He's turned his limbs into weapons like axes, hammers, swords, shields, tentacles, and even plasma cannons and guns of bullets, and has formed mechanical wings or rocket-propelled booster jets in order to fly. He's been able to grow multiple limbs, stretch his body similar to Mr. Fantastic, increase or decrease his size and mass, and has a powerful healing factor. Like I said, Apocalypse has access to a near infinite amount of extra-dimensional energy, and he can use the energy for other things besides just increasing his strength. He's able to unleash powerful raw energy blasts from his eyes and hands, can create nearly impenetrable force fields, absorb an infinite amount of energy, infuse his own body with energy in order to make himself as fast as speedsters, and even blow himself up in a massive explosion, only to reform using his shape-shifting powers. Apocalypse can fly at speeds over 6,000 miles per hour, teleport across the planet, and can interface, control, even merge with various technology at his disposal. He has above genius intellect in lots of different fields, and also a tactical genius, unleashing plans that took hundreds of years to map out. Finally, Apocalypse is a powerful telepath and telekinetic, and can create sonic shields, mind blast opponents, project himself onto the astral plane, and transfer both his mind and body into a host. Wow, That was a lot. But who wins? Well, let's break it down. Now this right here is a ridiculously tough matchup with two of the strongest villains in their respective universes going head to head. Apocalypse has consistently been able to go up against the X-Men and the Avengers, while Doomsday has taken on the Justice League and even Darkseid. Whoever comes out on top, it's going to be a very difficult, hard-fought victory. And regardless of who you personally think will win, you kind of have to admit that either of these two villains could claim the victory. Now looking at everything these guys have done, I'm going to have to say that Doomsday is physically stronger. I mean, the guy's made a name for himself pretty much solely because of his strength. He's fought against and beaten Superman countless times, beat Martian Manhunter and Wonder Woman, Supergirl and Cyborg Superman, and even Darkseid and the Justice League. The monster's physical strength is not to be trifled with. Now, Apocalypse has fought against a young Thor before and absolutely manhandled him. One punch from him was so strong that it nearly removed Thor's head from his spine. Thor even had to flee the battle because he knew he couldn't win the fight. However, we gotta remember that this was a young Thor, not nearly as strong or experienced as the Thor that we know. Then Apocalypse has also been seen restraining the Hulk in order to turn him into the Horseman of War, suggesting that Apocalypse might be stronger than the Hulk. However, this was a bannerless Hulk, meaning that he can no longer increase his strength of his rage, although he did have a higher base level of strength. We also never actually saw a fight between these guys, just Apocalypse restraining him. And that's kinda it for the first mutant in terms of strength feats. It's definitely probable that he's stronger than what we've seen here, and is at a level closer to Doomsday, but we have to go off of just what we've actually seen him do in comics. Doomsday is also physically more durable than Apocalypse. Just as we mentioned earlier, the monster has fought against Superman, Martian Manhunter, Supergirl, and the entire Justice League. He's also taken Omega Beams, the Astro Force, and energies from the Guardians of the Universe, and none of this put him down permanently. On the other hand, Apocalypse's durability isn't as cut and dry, because most of the durability comes from his celestial armor. Basically, the armor is a symbol of Apocalypse's authority bestowed upon him by the Celestials. Since Apocalypse was the first mutant, he was chosen by Celestials to protect and care for mutants, and make sure that they weren't wiped out by humans before they had a chance to grow and flourish. The armor is incredibly durable, as it's actually celestial armor, and has withstood shots from Black Bolt and attacks on Cable. However, celestial armor isn't necessarily impenetrable. Thor was able to slice into Apocalypse's armor, although he was using a mystical axe that had actually enchanted specifically to cut through celestial armor. Then Celestials themselves have proven that their armor isn't impenetrable either, as both Thor and an Invisible Woman have cracked celestial armor. And that's like an actual Celestial we're talking about, much more powerful than the armor given to Apocalypse. So the armor is exceptionally durable, but not necessarily indestructible. And then underneath all this armor, Apocalypse isn't durable enough to survive an onslaught with Doomsday. However, both of these guys actually have an incredible healing factor, as not only can they heal from pretty much any attack, but actually return from the grave. Doomsday obviously has the ability to involuntarily return from the dead, while for Apocalypse, as long as one drop of his blood remains, the techno-organic cells will take over a body and regrow Apocalypse. Then Doomsday is also faster than the first mutant, as he's regularly been able to fight against speedsters like Superman, Flash, and Wonder Woman. And while Apocalypse is fast enough to react to Quicksilver, who still isn't in the same league as DC heroes, he's also been outmaneuvered and one-upped by Spider-Man and even Cyclops. So just physically speaking, Doomsday is definitely superior. However, Apocalypse has got a plethora of powers, and is just so much more versatile than Doomsday. Now, usually I'm a big fan of versatility in a fight, because it gives you so many different ways to claim the victory. But that doesn't necessarily mean Apocalypse will win here. because we gotta see if his attacks are actually powerful enough to put down Doomsday. Now, Apocalypse is a very powerful telepath. He's actually been able to contend with Jean Grey in a psychic battle, shoot beams of energy from his eyes that hurt young Thor, teleport, and probably his greatest power is his ability to shapeshift and have complete control over his molecular structure. He's used this to split his body in order to dodge attacks, which could make it very difficult for Doomsday to get a solid hit. He's grown his limbs to massive sizes and turned them into clamps, spikes, tentacles, and even cannons. In theory, Apocalypse can become anything that he wants, and even flow down Doomsday's throat and attempt to suffocate him or damage him from the inside. However, the question here is if there is anything that Apocalypse has that has the power to kill Doomsday. And I'm not sure about that. Energy Blast won't do anything against the Beast, who's not only taken Superman's heat vision, but also Orion's Astroforce and even Darkseid's Omega Blast. Apocalypse won't be able to physically damage a guy who has taken the best punches that Kal-El could possibly throw his way. He's also proven that he can resist Martian Manhunter's telepathy, so that takes away Apocalypse's psychic advantage. And then it's important to remember that Doomsday isn't just a physical powerhouse like the Hulk. He actually has the unique ability to evolve and adapt in any fight in order to claim the victory. And this adaptation actually happens super fast, and can make Doomsday exponentially more powerful. He's evolved around John's phasing ability, adapted tactile telekinesis when fighting Superboy, adapted Eradicator's energy projection, adapted flight, Wave Rider can't affect his nervous system, and even destroyed a being made out of pure energy. Doomsday's even shown the ability to teleport before. And given Doomsday's insane strength and durability, Apocalypse just isn't going to be strong enough to put the monster down before Doomsday adapts to his powers. It's also important to note that Doomsday adapts to his opponent's weaknesses, like breathing fire when fighting Martian Manhunter, or kryptonite bones when going up against Superman. So it's possible that Doomsday can simply adapt a way to crack through Apocalypse's celestial armor, just like Thor enchanted the axe to do so. At the end of the day, this is a fight I would love to see play out in the comics, but I think Doomsday is just too much for the first mutant here. It also doesn't help that Apocalypse has been written kinda inconsistently throughout the years, as he's been defeated by Cyclops before, but then other times taken Cyclops' blast no problem. Nor does it help that he's said that he's afraid of Magneto, and famously ran from a fight against Namor. Doomsday's been traded much more consistently and just at a higher power level, overpowering people like Superman and even Darkseid. Doomsday is winning this one. But what do y'all think? I would love to hear your thoughts, so sign off in the comments down below. Also, be sure to subscribe button. More videos just like this one every single day, and I'll see y'all next time.